What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday. That's right. Tuesday, the day after Monday, one day before hump day. January the 24th, 2023, somehow already. Crazy. We're all getting old. Joining me as always, he is the host of the Take One podcast. He is happy because he's an Eagles fan. He is Mr. Mike Bish. What's going on, dude?
Not a whole lot, man. Living on cloud nine, man. 2 more games to go. That's the goal. So we'll see, man. It's been a good year. So, but I'm good to glad to be here tonight.
You know, my sports teams are typically, at least the ones that Tom Brady doesn't play for, don't do very well. So I don't know what it's like to play a playoff game and have nothing to worry about. And that seemed like that's what the Eagles had this weekend, is a whole lot of nothing to worry about.
Yeah, game was over pretty much in the first quarter. So that's always good. Stress-free football is always nice. It's going to be a really good weekend coming up. Win or lose, obviously the goal is to win, but it's been a great season so far. So, we'll see where it goes.
Good shit, man. Good shit. So tonight's episode, we're going to talk about Scream 6. Mike and I have been sort of going back and forth a little bit on that and talking about some of those things. And I'm going to take a chance here and dabble in some areas that maybe I shouldn't be, but we're going to do that anyway tonight. And we're going to look at A Quiet Place Part 1. And then next week we have A Quiet Place Part 2. I will say this, tonight's show will be of the shorter variety. So if you're watching after the fact, I apologize that there's no stream up today. At one point today, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to do this today. So it's just been crazy times. But if you caught last night's stream with Tommy and I, then things are starting to go back to normal around here a little bit, and whatever that new normal is anyway. And you'll see things a little more consistently now that we've removed ourselves from some of the craziness and some of the holidays that have gone on with everybody. So or everybody has had holidays, if you will. So yeah, stay tuned for all that. But tonight it's Scream 6. It's A Quiet Place. We're going to focus on that. You might be asking, well, why aren't we talking The Last of Us this week? Well, I haven't seen the episode yet. So I haven't seen the last 7 minutes of episode number 1 yet. So it's just
man, you're in for a treat. I wasn't able to watch it either. But it was like I wasn't able to watch it like as soon as like it came out. But I watched it on Monday and it was phenomenal.
Well, that's a plus. I'm hearing good things. I heard there's maybe something a little bit controversial for video game fans, that they're not necessarily on board with every decision that was made in this most recent episode. I don't really know.
Sorry, I'm smiling because my baby nephew just FaceTimed me, and I'm like, sorry, man, I literally have to go. Like, you look so adorable right now, but I gotta go, dude. I'm on a live stream. I'm like, a couple more years, I'm gonna set you down for Halloween. Just a couple more years.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry about that.
No.
I just saw you look. I saw you looking. I was like, I'm sure you were thinking, what the fuck is he smiling at?
Well, I thought maybe you were seeing something I wasn't. So, but it turned out that
no news, man. No news. I want something big though. By the way, I know it's random, but I want some big news. I don't know why. I want something big.
Well, it depends what you're into, right? And what you classify as big. Like, there's
true.
Been big stuff for Star Wars fans lately. All is not quiet with Halloween. I'll say that. It is on the movie front. There's nothing brewing there. But if you're a fan of the IP, there's some things coming. There's a couple of different board games, a making of novel, if you will, and possibly another piece of literature not too far down the line as well in terms of Halloween. So be on the lookout for that. But in terms of like big news, man, I'm pretty satisfied with mine. I got my Star Wars kick. There's a new Star Wars movie being made. It's being written by David Lindelof. He wrote Watchmen for HBO, which I've never seen, but I heard great things about. So I'm pretty excited about that. And the internet being what it is today, um, the internet being what it is today, they announced. Well, they didn't announce, but the rumor is two people of color are the leads of the film, and of course, you have people that are not caught up with today's times in 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like instantly. It's pretty pathetic that shit like that still goes down in any fandom or any walk of life. Like I don't know how we can't leave racism and bigotry behind.
Yeah, makes no sense, man. I don't know. I can't comprehend stuff like that. Like it's hard for me to try to even understand that.
Oh, hang on. Apollo says, has the script leaked on Reddit yet? If you're talking about the Scream script, one of those leaked a long time ago. And when I say a long time ago, it's been making circles for a couple of months.
The right one?
Oh well, there's different ones.
The right one?
They have several different scripts for the back part of the movie because there's multiple different endings that were filmed, not just a couple. They're attempting to pull off.
Well, I know they did a couple for the first one. I didn't know if they went down the same road and did the multiple endings for this one as well.
Oh, it sounds like they went way further. At least that's what I've heard.
Can you check the private chat real quick, by the way? Just following up on some stuff.
You're good.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just very excited for this. Do we have a chance to talk about the trailer last week? Or
Yeah,
no, because
we talked about it a little bit, but we probably didn't dive into it as much as we could have. But
I'm just excited for it, you know?
Where are you sitting with all the the thoughts on the trailer and the rumors and the speculation and maybe your wants and needs out of the movie?
I love it. I just wasn't the last one. I know you enjoyed it. I don't know, man. Something about it just didn't sit right with me. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought that I was going to. And I love the Scream franchise. Just to be honest, like it's one of my favorites. I think it's definitely one of the franchises out there that's the most consistent as far as quality and quantity, or quality at least. So yeah, I thought the trailer was really good. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that a lot of the reviews from Scream 5 were all saying that this was a movie was brutal and Ghostface was brutal and he's in a different mindset and compared to the other films. And when I walked out of Scream 5, I just personally didn't feel that way. I thought it was the same old Ghostface, maybe a little weaker if I'm being quite honest. But like when I watched this trailer, I just feel the brutality with Ghostface. Like he feels and looks big. He feels intimidating. I feel like it's a classic line. Like you kind of roll your eyes when you hear the words, "Yeah, but you've never dealt with anybody like me before." Like, okay, we've seen many ghost faces, but like when you watch the trailer, like I walked away from it feeling like, hey, this is like I feel that way. Like obviously, Ghostface is not walking down the street with a shotgun killing people, but obviously in the trailer he takes it away from somebody and blows his fucking head off. So that right there just showed me that he was brutal. I love the little jump scene from when he's chasing Gale through the house. There's a lot of good the cinematography in it, at least from the trailer, looks absolutely phenomenal. Some really, really good shots of Ghostface. And I'm excited to see where they take it. I really enjoyed the trailer. So we'll see.
So I'm not like over the moon with anticipation for the movie because I'm not the biggest Scream fan. But I will say this. I am far more optimistic about the movie that's coming out in less than 2 months' time I think it's less than 2 months' time. What's
Yeah.
the date? What's the release?
March 10th.
Yeah, so less than 2 months' time. Far more optimistic about this movie than I would have been a year ago, half a year ago even. There's a lot of discourse out there, a lot of fan expectations. One group of fans want this person to show up, another group of fans want someone else to show up. And look, by the way, I'm a huge fucking Timothy Oliphant fan. Like, I fucking love Justified. Fucking amazing. By the way, that has a sequel series coming out this summer. Um, but the people that want Timothy Oliphant to come back, didn't his character literally get shot right in the head in Scream 2? Pretty sure he does.
I'm trying to picture who that is, and I'm sorry for being disrespectful.
Ouch.
I have to
Ouch.
look. Yeah, I have to look him up. Timothy Olaf,
Timothy Oliphant.
same thing.
Olyphant.
Oh, Mickey. Yeah, he got shot in the head,
Yeah. So, like, he's not coming back. I love Timothy
and then
Oliphant.
he got shot multiple times after that because he got back up. Well, he got
Uh,
shot, and he got back
uh,
up.
okay.
Yeah,
So I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
One
but
of the things I heard is, "Oh my god, Timothy Oliphant's back." I'm like,
that's not
what?
gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be Timothy Oliphant. Not to mention that dude's busy. He has a contract with Lucasfilm. He appears as Cobb Vanth. I'm pretty sure he's appearing as Cobb Vanth again in one of the 3 shows that are on this year for Star Wars on Disney Plus. He has the Justified series that's coming out. They did the Deadwood movie not long ago. He did the show with Drew Barrymore not long ago. Dude's super busy. Have a hard time. I mean, I guess the thing with Ghostface is, like, you really only need to appear at the very end of the movie. So,
I mean
is it
that is
possible?
true for the yeah.
It's possible. But that's not the name that I've heard. I will say this though, because I'm not gonna just blurt it out. Because I don't know if it's accurate or not. I don't. If we were talking Halloween, I'd feel far more confident. I will say this though, if some of the things that are going around are true, I think a lot of Scream diehard fans are going to be very happy with certain events in the back half of this film. However, that said, I do think there's some things that happen in this film, and you brought one of them up that's focused on in the trailer, where I've already seen talk online where it's like, oh, why is he using a shotgun? Why is he using a gun? My question is, why the fuck not? Why shouldn't he use a gun? Why shouldn't he
You're
switch it up?
right. You're right. I'm not with that whole Ghostface has never used a shotgun, so why start now? I'm
It's
not
the
with that.
same person every time. Like,
Yeah,
fuck.
no, like I was about to say, just because in the other films he might not use the gun until he takes the mask off, what the fuck is the difference? I think it's more intimidating when he uses the gun with the mask on.
I
Honestly.
the the scene that they show us inside the variety store there is
Yeah.
I like it. It's very, very well done. I'm
It
incredibly intrigued.
is. It seems like this movie is gonna create a lot of tension too, which I really, really enjoy, which I feel like we didn't get in the last movie. I feel like in the last movie, we got more like it was hands-on, like a speed at 100%. Like there was not really any tension at all. And just that in that convenience store, um, you felt the tension just in that when everything's all quiet and Ghostface is walking around. Like that's really, really good tension building right there. So that has me very intrigued. I will say though, I'm interested. What I'm interested in is um the old looking mask, which I love, by the way. Um, how like because we see in the movie um that the main character has it in her purse. So how does Ghostface get it? Is it another mask? And I also have seen images from the film where Ghostface is wearing a plain white mask as well. obviously. I mean, it's in the trailer when they're on the subway. So, like, how are those corresponding with each other? Like, how's that gonna like? What is that? Is it gonna be like a cult of people running around? Like, what is it gonna be? Because we see the shrine of all of the Ghostface robes and stuff. And I don't know if you've like really dug into it and looked, Sean, but if you watch the trailer and you look, you
Their
can see
items.
yep, Stu's robe. I think that that's really cool. And when it's a quick shot, but when she's walking on stage closer to the Ghostface robes, the one that is in the box, it looks like the nameplate says Billy Loomis on it. So that was pretty interesting as well.
The movie does a lot to build on the lore, even adds layers to it from what I understand. Again, it reportedly does this. I can't say for certain that it's guaranteed to happen. Um, but I'm intrigued, man. Again, I think that when you're not weighed down by legacy characters, obviously there's one of them, um, to an extent, uh, you have more freedom, more creative liberty to do what you want. Um, and I think it sounds like they've done something very different, and I'm on board for that. I'm completely on board for that. I like 5 more than most, um, but I think 6 is gonna be way better than 4 or 5. Now, I understand that's not saying much,
Yeah.
but I'm incredibly confident in this film. But I do think because of certain decisions that are made with Ghostface in this film, at least, some of the stuff that's out there, I think you're gonna have I mean, you already have fans bitching about him using a shotgun. There are gonna be
Yeah.
other things that people are gonna wanna bitch about. I
I mean, I
assure
see people yeah, I see people complaining about the mask, people who don't like the mask, that it's a Halloween ripoff, that they're literally just doing the same thing that Halloween is doing. I don't know if I definitely don't feel that way. Um, but some people are just, a lot of diehards want to see, I don't know, man. It's you're not going to be able to please everybody is basically what I'm saying. Um, so for me to not like Scream 5, to walk away from the trailer super intrigued and ready for this movie, like that's a win. Now it doesn't mean it's going to be a good movie. I hope it's going to be a good movie. It's just Scream 4 and Scream 5 were movies that I just really didn't enjoy, especially Scream 4. Um, I don't know. I know 4 has a cult following, and I love that for them. You can kind of say I'm like that towards 3. I know a lot of people don't like 3, and of course, there's some corny stuff in 3 that just doesn't really work. But I think 3 is fun. And then 1 and 2 are just on a pedestal for me. And two's a lot closer than the original, in my opinion. I know Sean, you like that movie a little bit more than the original. So, one thing I do love about this franchise, although I didn't love 5 and not the biggest fan of 4 really at all, like I said, is the consistency that this franchise has had, and that the movies, for the most part, the majority of the fans think they are at least okay to really great. So, I hope we get the same thing with 6. I think the Scream series has done a really, really good job with it. And the consensus that I get, people who aren't the biggest Scream fans, they pretty much enjoy all the movies in the franchise. So, I think it's the diehards that really come to a point that have a problem with, maybe 4 or 5, but people who are just, like, not the biggest fans, most of them love all 5 installments so far. And, that's just a nod to everybody involved in each film.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's when you're a diehard fan of something, your expectations are just gonna be naturally higher and probably naturally more cynical than if you're just the average going moviegoer. Um, I'm not a huge Scream fan. It's probably why I like some of those movies. Um, my I'm a big fan of Cotton. I don't know if I don't even know how Cotton's received in the Scream fan base, but I love his character. I love Lieb Schreiber. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Seen him in a bunch of stuff. He's always good. I haven't seen the show Ray Donovan, but I heard he was awesome in it. Um, so like, I'm not your typical Scream fan. I think most Scream fans would be, oh Sydney, or oh Gail, or oh Dewey. I just think that they have the opportunity here to do something unique and special, and they're not tied down by legacy characters. They already, you and I've talked about it. They already have a plan for 7. Um, and I honestly think I would be stunned if this movie's at least not pretty darn good and pretty darn successful.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I just have a feeling that this movie is gonna be probably the best out of the 3. But I could be wrong. It's just a feeling. Obviously, I don't know much about the 7th installment yet, but we'll see. I just have a really good feeling about this one, and I hope I'm right. I'm trying not to get my expectations too high because with the last movie, Scream 5, my expectations were through the roof. Being able to see Ghostface on the screen again had been a really, 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 really long time. I think since like 2011, maybe even before that. I can't remember, but it had been a long time. So it'll be good to have Ghostface back on the screen again, and what looks like to be a more brutal, scarier Ghostface.
Which I think is a good thing because I think you can only have so many different fucking people trip over so many damn chairs and couches and anything else the fucking guy could trip over, or girl, or
At least
depending on.
based off at least based off the trailer, I don't see his clumsiness in this movie. I don't know. I'm not saying he's not going to have any. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. This does feel a little different, and I hope it is different.
Um, I don't know if you're ever going to get rid of the clumsiness of Ghostface. I think you'll tone it down as we go. I would argue that the clumsiness was toned down in 4, or sorry, not 4, 5, for Ghostface. I
True,
didn't think he
true.
was
I
as stupid,
and
frankly.
to be fair, I've worn a ghost face mask before with those very small eye holes. It's usually a good chance that you are if you're running and runner, it could you could definitely trip off. Like it's possible to be that clumsy. Like I know some of them go way overboard, but it is kind of hard to see, especially with the road being long, very easy to trip over and stuff like that. So it's believable to an extent.
So yeah, we have Scream 6. It's coming your way, pardon me, to theaters in a little less than 2 months' time. I'm excited for it. Let me ask you, Mike, before we move on to our featured film of this evening, which is A Quiet Place. Um, have you ever seen Titanic on the big screen? And will you be going for the 25th anniversary?
First off, you know exactly how I feel about that movie. I have not been able to see it on the big screen, and I will have my ass planted in the seat. I think it's February 6th, I believe, or 9th.
10th.
But I will be there. Is it 10th? I'll be there
Yeah.
100%. I'm not
Uh,
missing that.
they're still not listing show times here, but I so badly want to see basically the last 70, 80 minutes of the movie in IMAX. I think that'd be incredible. I hope we get it on an IMAX screen, even if it wasn't filmed. Or
Yeah.
you know, I know it was. I don't know if the original Titanic was filmed in IMAX. I don't think so. Um, but I don't know if the updating process, if they used any IMAX tech with that or not. But I desperately want to go see that. So like for my upcoming movies list, I
Yeah.
basically have Scream and I have Titanic. Those are the 2 that are near anyway.
Yeah. I'm going to go see Infinity Pool this weekend with Mia Goth. I'm really excited about that one.
You're
I'm
going to
kind of
see
going
what?
into it's called Infinity Pool with Mia Goth.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about that. Obviously, a big fan of hers after seeing X and Pearl. So really looking forward to going to see that this weekend. But once I saw that they were bringing Titanic back into the theater, I was like, "There's no way that I can miss this." It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's been a long time since I've watched that movie fully through. It's a very very long movie, but being able to hear that score, that sound, and hopefully we get it on IMAX. But being able to see that on the big screen, period, it's going to be um, really, really good, and a really good experience that I just feel like I can't miss. So, yeah, we'll definitely see how it goes. But yeah, Infinity Pool is on my list for this weekend. It's like a horror slash sci-fi is kind of what I'm gathering from, and I've kind of avoided all like spoilers and trailers. I've only seen one trailer, and that was a while ago. So, um, yeah, we'll see what where we go from here.
All right, let's dive into it. A Quiet Place was released April 6th, 2018. Almost 5 years ago already. That's kind of crazy. It was directed by John Krasinski. It was also written by John Krasinski, Brian Woods, and Scott Beck. Produced by Michael Bay, Andrew Form, and Brad Fuller. Starring John Krasinski's wife, Emily Blunt, and John Krasinski himself. It was edited by Christopher Television. Cinematography on the first film was done by Charlotte Bruce Christensen. I probably butchered the middle name there, so apology. Music was done by Marco Beltrami. You guys have probably heard some of his work on other films. Production company was Platinum Dunes. The budget was $17 million, and they made $341 million worldwide. Mike, your initial impressions on A Quiet Place?
I really enjoyed it. I actually really liked it a lot, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say, Sean, whether you liked it or not. Because usually, at least like the movies that I suggested, like for Terrifier, you give me a little hint. You haven't said shit about this movie, and the fact that you were able to watch these movies back to back, or I don't know if you watched them back to back, but you're able to check them both out. Um, I thought was really cool, really good, hopefully a good sign. But for me personally, I really enjoyed it. It was a different take on it. Honestly, the monsters are really the main monster in this movie looks like Demogorgon from Stranger Things. I don't know if you know what that looks like just based off pictures, but it literally looks like the same thing. So I just thought they did a really good job. I thought the cinematography was really, really good. I thought the sound was really good, and obviously we'll jump into that. But I think the biggest takeaway for me, it's very hard, especially for me as a watcher, to capture people's attention for whatever the runtime for this movie is, hour 15, hour 20 plus, and to keep their attention without there really being a lot of dialogue, being able to tell a story without with very minimum dialogue, I think is really, really big as well. And they did a really good job. I thought John Krasinski was really good in this. Emily Blunt was good in this movie, and she shines even brighter, I think, in the second film. Um, but the kid cast was phenomenal as well. I thought that the way that they handled the jump scenes and the jump scares were really good. Um, you know, there's a lot of emotional scenes in this movie, two that kind of really stand out. And it really hits like it hits like in a good way. And they were able to deliver, I think, a great film. Um, and I love both of these movies. Even jumping ahead to next week, just saying, it's no secret. I thought they did a great job. I thought they really hit on these two movies. I personally would love to have seen them stop with this second one, but I know at least a prequel is coming out um, soon. So we'll see how that goes. I've really liked the first two, so hopefully, we keep that going. But initial view opinion of the Quiet Place, man, I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. Definitely one of my favorite favorite films in the past few years?
Um, so here's the thing. Um, I so we have a way of doing this show, and it's not, you know, scoring things based off of favorites. It's scoring things based off of quality. And I was done with the first movie 10 minutes into it. I
Wow.
there's there's certain things that trigger me. Um that just and it's not like, "Oh, how dare they?" Although I'm sure some people have that stance. It's just some things that like I don't know what it is. Just you see it, you don't like it, it upsets you, and then you're never really able to recover from it. And for me, killing the kid was not. I know people will fire back with the, "Oh, that kid just got fucked. He's done. He's dead. Fuck that kid. Fucking rocket ship." Um, but then they'll also be like, "Well, if the kid's dead 10 minutes in, what else can happen?" But the truth is, nothing else even close to that happens for the rest of the fucking movie. I'm not saying the movie's not bad. The movie is good, and my scores will reflect that. But I did not appreciate killing a kid 10 minutes into the movie, if that. Um, I mean, they telegraphed it coming. Um, but I don't know, man. It's one of the things I always appreciated about the older Halloween movies. Yeah, Michael's chasing Jamie, but guess what? He never fucking catches her until she's basically an adult.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Probably because of my own personal experience, but I'm glad it wasn't like gory or anything. It was just done over.
I mean,
Um,
true. Yeah. I mean, I can't it's hard for me to talk to that because I don't have kids, and I feel like people who do connect with that stuff on a more of an emotional level. I mean, I've seen no offense, but I mean, just being transparent, I've seen movies that are way more fucked up involving kids getting killed. One movie that I think of is The Mist. What he does to that kid, I mean, is fucked up at the end. Like, it's what I personally think it's way more fucked up than what was in A Quiet Place. But again, I don't I can't connect on that level, at least yet in my life for whatever reason. I'm not sitting here saying, thank God, like, I wasn't sitting there like, "Holy shit, that kid got fucked up." Like, when I was talking about emotional scenes in this movie, that was the one that stuck out to me personally because it is a kid, and I don't like seeing kids get killed. So, I wouldn't I don't yeah, I'm not I agree with you. I think there's definitely people out there that stand up and yell, "Yeah, that kid got fucked up. Yeah, this and that." Wasn't me, but I don't have a problem with it to the point that you do, if that makes sense.
no, I get it. Not everybody's gonna feel the same way. And to be honest, if that kill happens, I don't know, 45 minutes later, an hour and 45 minutes later, it hell, it probably has more of an emotional impact if I'm being honest. But
True.
it gives me a chance to get settled in to the movie, and seeing a kid go that early, it I like this. I'm gonna show my cards here, man. I like the second movie much better than the first movie, and I know
I
I don't think most people feel that way. I think the first movie's rated better, and I think most people
it
like the first
is.
better. But
It is. I love the first movie. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, but I do like the second movie a little better. And I did get some pushback on that when I said that. I think I just remember, and for many reasons. One, I just think it's a better film. I think that the dialogue in it helps. You know, there's more dialogue in that film. The action in it, I feel like, is a lot more. I don't know. I just gravitate towards that one a lot more than I do. And I remember A Quiet Place 2 is the first movie that I went and saw when the movie theaters opened back up from COVID. And I know that's like a dumb reason, but like it's just a little sentimental value to me because it had been so long since I had been in a movie theater and to be able to experience that. Like Sean, I don't know what your setup is like is at home, but one of the things that with both of these movies, but especially the second one, and especially hearing John Krasinski's, like, explanation of what he wanted to do. That second one, that opening scene, and I don't wanna get too far into the second one, but it dives into a lot of the sound designs into it, and it really like, when you're hearing it in the theater or surround sound and it's coming from all over, like, it's so stuff like that, it seems so simple to other people. I feel like I, like, just have heart eyes over. Like that is like when he was talking about that's what he wanted to do. Like I feel like to other people they were like that's kind of weird, but he loved it. Like you could hear in his voice that's what he wanted to do, and I loved it. So like that connection was there. So I agree with you. I enjoyed the second one a little bit more as well. Sorry, I went on a rant, but I just
Second,
like that movie a lot.
second movie just feels more like a apocalyptic movie. In the first movie, they're trying to really make it like this family affair, and I don't know, man. I couldn't get past the kid dying, right? Um, I also couldn't get past. I get it. It's entertainment. It's horror. Why the fuck is your youngest child walking behind everybody? And he was walking behind everybody before he stops too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's your parental guidance or or whatever kicking in, but I'm not a parent, and I that's one thing that stuck out to me. That and also, you know exactly what's going on. Take the batteries out the fucking battleship.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Simple,
they they
simple
they tried
stuff.
they tried to, right? And
I
and
mean, yeah, I'll give
the
you
girl
that, I guess.
the girl gives
With
it.
the with eye rolling in the back of my head, I'll give that to them, I guess. But still,
Yeah,
no, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. That kid is walking, being it's the smallest kid, walking in the middle of the 2 parents would be what I would do, or have a parent at the front or the back, because both of the parents are badass, and I don't know, just whatever, man. I agree with you on that part though, 100%.
so
And you gotta
that was
suspend your, like, disbelief too, like, how the fuck is there electricity through all of it? Like, you know, little stuff like that. You gotta suspend your belief to some degree, but
yeah.
that part, it's hard because, like, most parents are not gonna do that.
Yeah. Um, the uh, the movie is good. Like
Can
it's
I
it
ask you something?
yeah.
Last thing on the kid scene, did you think that he was gonna get there on time? Because for me, I was like, 1, there's no way they're gonna do this so early, and 2, I think that they're just showing us what type of monster we're dealing with, and when it happened, I was just, you know, I was just shocked by that.
The way it was shot, in my opinion, um, basically told you what was coming. I
That's
didn't think
fair.
there was a chance the dad was getting there, and it was kind of like this resigned exception. You know, you just accept the fact that wow, the kid's just gone. Your kid just died a horribly violent death. And we assume, I mean, a lot of them get just sort of like whacked and stabbed and with the claws or the pincers or whatever. You would assume the kid got eaten. That was the implication,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
which
But
is
no,
just
I don't.
Mike, I'm not kidding. Even sitting here talking about it right now is making me feel it's a movie. It's a Hollywood fucking movie, and it's
Yeah.
making me feel uncomfortable. So maybe mission
Do you,
accomplished in terms of that, but I don't know.
but
I
do you
just
feel do you feel that way about all kid scenes?
yeah, I don't want to see
When
kids
it
die.
comes to okay. No, no, that's fair. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying I do either. I was just asking you personally, is that was that just something within this movie and the way they did it, or is that just universal for you?
It's weird because like Danny gets chased in The Shining, and maybe that
But he
doesn't bother
doesn't die, right?
me, just like Jamie gets chased, but really doesn't die in 4 or 5. Um, you know, there's just something about seeing a kid die on screen that, regardless if it's a horror movie or not, makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. And
Yeah. No,
I
I
think it
understand.
was like 8 minutes into the movie or whatever it was. It
Very
just
quick, yeah.
it was
And
hard to
maybe to
set.
your point, and maybe to your point, that was maybe it was their intention to do that, maybe not on the level that you're feeling. Um, but I don't know. I haven't
I
heard like any like commentary or director wise like talk about the first film. I've heard everything about the second film. So I don't
yeah.
know if there's something out there to where they do talk about that scene and if it was like I'm not sure how that went down.
I think it's a good film. I think it's pretty fucked up that they went and got pregnant during that time. I think you need to have some self control. What is it, like day 472 when it starts or something like that?
Yeah.
Uh, it's I don't know, man. It's again, like I don't want to come on here and sound like um being a baby or anything like that, but
You ain't
I
gotta apologize. Like, you ain't gotta no, you ain't gotta explain none of
I
that.
I can watch Jason Voorhees walk into a room and slaughter 9 people, or Freddy
You
Krueger
know?
have his fun, or Michael do his fun, or even serious movies, like Seven that we just did, What's in the Box, um, and, like, some of the gruesome things we see there, and that stuff doesn't bother me, and yet you go to that beginning scene of Quiet Place, and you
Yeah.
literally like, it's not graphic, man, like, it's there and done within, what, 5 seconds? Um And, like, the
Yeah.
scene
I
that's
mean,
like that, I think that's what killed is, like, I knew when the scene started,
yeah.
at least in my heart, that kid was fucked. It was over.
Have
Uh,
have you ever seen Hardball?
I have, yeah, Keanu Reeves.
Like, that movie fucked me up when G Baby died, like, when he got shot and died. Like, that was
That
a real tough scene.
movie, fucked me up knowing that shit like that happens
Yeah, I know.
every day, everywhere, still in 2000 today, actually, just outside of
Yeah,
Toronto. Um, it's it's sounds terrible. I think it's just, like, the way I'm wired anyways, like,
yeah.
I read, 47-year-old female, killed in an alley or whatever, that's bad. And then you read
When it
about a kid
involves kids,
dying,
yeah.
and it's just I don't know, man, it opens up
Well,
something inside me, and
what's crazy, and this is obviously not on the same level because we're dealing with human beings here, but my friend sent me an emoji, and it was like when Michael Myers when Michael Myers just slaughtered somebody to death, you jump up screaming, "Hell fucking yes!" But when the dog and Marley and me dies, you're over there shedding tears and crying. You know what I mean? So
do you know who that
everything
dog
hits people differently.
do you know whose
Huh?
dog that in that movie?
No. No,
AJ
I
Elman's
don't.
dog.
Is it really?
That's here or was, I think it's passed away now, but yeah, it was.
First of all, you wanna talk about a fucked up movie to make? Why make that movie for 1? 2, let's be honest, it's a great movie. I will never rewatch that movie in my life, ever. Like, not gonna happen. Shawn says, "Hey, let's do it for the Overlook," which we would never do because
No,
obvious, but it's
I don't
just
think
like
that's the right genre.
yeah, yeah, it was like we'll have 2 viewers because nobody wants to fucking cry their eyes out. Like, I'm sorry, the rewatch value on that movie, despite it being a great movie, is just terrible. So, but no, that just kind of goes to the point. Like, I understand we all have these triggers to some degree, and I'll be honest with you, having nieces and nephews when stuff like that happens. I don't know if your brain is wired like this or if most people brains are wired like this, but you think about what if it was them? And you don't mean to do that. It just like happens. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that happened, to you and it makes you feel some type of way when when we know when you're closer to a situation like that and having kids. So I definitely understand to a degree where you're coming from.
That is 100% where I was going with that. Just try not to
Yeah. I mean it's
think it.
Yeah. No, I know. It's just a natural thing to think for most people. So, I mean, because I was just sitting there thinking about it. Marley and me. Well, my dog's a golden retriever, and I think about stuff like that. Well, what the fuck would I do? And I just go to my nieces and nephews whenever I see something crazy like that happen, and it's
Don't
just like,
watch Old Yeller. Don't do it.
yeah, there's a lot of movies out there that you just stay away from.
Yeah, I think you do put yourself. I think that a lot of movies are like that, though. Not just the kid thing, but if there's something that you relate to, you put yourself in that position. And
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about hardball. Just imagine people who live that lifestyle or live in that not lifestyle, but environment that watch that play out on screen. That's going to affect them differently than it may affect us. You know what I mean?
uh, Toronto Freddy said in the chat, "A Quiet Place is packed full of the most idiotic dingbats ever put to film. They make some of the worst fucking decisions." He's talking about the characters in the film. There's some
Yeah,
characters in the second movie that make some pretty awful,
that
pretty
is true.
awful decisions.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't wait to talk about that. Would you
yeah,
So before we wrap up, I guess the overall view. Would you think about the ending, the father sacrificing himself to a degree?
I'm gonna go back to this quote. Like, if I was that father, um, I absolutely would have. But here's my thing. I have two problems with that. One, uh, they don't make any noise uh at the beginning when the kid gets eaten. Yeah, he's running, but why
Yeah.
the hell are you not running, screaming your fucking head off and like doing anything you fucking can? But at the end of the movie, you drop the axe and you scream or you yell or whatever it was he did there to get their attention. But then he doesn't
Do you
run. Like don't
True.
like I'm sorry, I know these are horror movie things, but it's a really well-made movie with great sound design, fairly decent writing, really good acting, really good cinematography, but it falls into the trope of let's have every fucking character, not every character, but like a lot of characters make some really stupid decisions. And then you take the father, who's the guy behind the movie, might I add, and I don't know how you have that moment at the end and then go, well, why didn't you do that at the beginning? Like, and then the moment at the end, it's like you're trying to buy your kids time to get away, but you stand there and let him get you instead of getting his attention by yelling and then running. Yeah, it would have been a few extra seconds, not much, but those few extra seconds could have counted for something.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It's yeah, yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry. Have some self fucking control.
Yeah.
like
No, agreed.
it's
I
it's
agree.
a unique situation, but it almost takes um it 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 almost takes I know we're talking like the realism out of it, but like
Yeah.
it does
I mean,
kind of
we
take the realism out of it because that baby would never always be quiet.
No, 100%. And, they do stuff in the second one to make sure it keeps quiet and but obviously you got to suspend your belief a little bit when it comes to the having the baby because it's a dumb decision. I mean, come on now. You just don't do it in a situation like that cuz you've had kids before. They're just not gonna, they're going to cry. It is what it is. And then what are you going to do? You're fucked. So but it's just like something they always, and it's a little different because they didn't try to keep quiet in The Walking Dead, but like who would want to bring a baby into the world in any situation like that? So, I agree. I agree.
It's one thing when you already have the kids or the baby,
Yeah, yeah.
getting them through it. It's another thing when you willingly choose to bring a child into
I
that.
just I just think of like The Walking Dead when Rick's wife is pregnant or gets pregnant.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, who would want to do that?
Um, yeah, I don't know. Like the concept's great. Another nitpick I have though, you said that the monster looks like a thing from Stranger Things.
Mhm.
Well, the monster also looks damn near identical to the monster from Cloverfield. Not the big one, but all the small ones that you see on the ground. The pincers, the shape in the elbow area of it. I was just like, wait, what? I'm like looking at it. I'm like, okay, they could have gone a little more. Maybe their way of going original is the weird thing with the head and how it has the armor, and you need the frequency to get it to open up to have a clear shot. But they're bigger than the small ones in Cloverfield, but very, very similar design.
So I just sent you a picture from the monster from the first season of Stranger Things, and it makes an appearance through all three. But it literally reminds me of something very similar to what we get in A Quiet Place to a degree.
That thing looks like something from Resident Evil. Maybe no one uses original designs anymore. Uh,
It's they actually this is actually so Stranger Things uses all of like their characters from they get all their characters or demons from D&D.
mhm.
So all of these are, characters that already exist. Like this is a Demogorgon, which is I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, so I don't know too much about the game. But they get all their characters I guess, quote unquote, pre-made already from Dungeons and Dragons.
So
I just thought that it looked really similar.
it's kind of hard to see here because it's the big monster, and I just have it on my camera here. But like, that's the big monster from
Yeah,
Cloverfield, and
gotcha.
it's a weird, like, I don't know. Maybe we're just running out of concepts and ideas, and now you have a fucking computer program that'll go fucking make you art if you want it to, and I don't know. The world's a weird
Well,
place.
yeah, well, see, that's the thing that money helps as well. So the thing that I just showed you in season one, they didn't have the money, so it was a guy dressed up in a green suit that they had to, use computerizing for. But when you get to season three, or I'm sorry, season four that we just had, when it comes to the main villain, his name is Vecna. It was all prosthetic. There was a little CGI into it to make like some of the stuff on his skin move, but like he's in the makeup chair for 7.5 hours getting that makeup applied to him. So that's just what having money, able to do. You can make stuff look more realistic. Um, so yeah, no, I agree.
Let's dive into what our scores were, man. Let's start with let me pull my handy dandy sheet up here for a second. 'Cause I almost showed everybody all the scores. Mike, let's start with story and pacing.
For me, these are going to be high scores for me. I love this movie. And you can kind of get an idea where I'm going to go for the second one. But I thought the story and pacing was really good. I had no problem with it at all. I gave story and pacing a 9.
I gave story and pacing a 7.5, and that was my lowest score actually.
You gave it a 7. You said 7.5.
Yep, and that was my lowest score on the card.
Was that more of the story for you or pacing?
Pacing. The like I said, and it could have been the kill at the beginning, but the first little bit, outside of that kill, really just sort of. Yeah,
It was
I
slow.
guess there's a world building you got to do, and you're limited with how you can do it. I also feel the fact that this came out after Hush. I can't help but wonder if Hush inspired any of this or not. Um, but yeah, I guess story and pacing is 7.5, which brings us to the acting, Mike.
I mean, I thought it was phenomenal. Again, you got to go back to being able to tell a believable story through the acting, obviously, without having with having very little dialogue. So I thought Emily Blunt was amazing in this movie. Same with Krasinski, along with the two kids as well. So I gave acting a 9.5. I don't know where they could have got a little better here. I guess is kind of the way that I'm trying to look at it. Um, but yeah, I thought everybody did a real good, phenomenal job. If I'm being honest, and that is my highest score.
I gave the acting an 8. I thought it was very good. I didn't think it was incredible. I didn't think it was great, and it most certainly wasn't bad or average. It was really good, and I think you needed really good acting
You had
because
to, yeah.
actors aren't getting very much to work with when they film this.
Yeah, I agree.
Cinematography, Mike.
I thought it was really good. I gave it a 9. Some really, really damn cool shots in this movie. So, um, I gave it a 9. Again, the monster probably is what's keeping it from a 10 for me because I thought the night scenes were really good. I don't know. I just thought they did a really good job with it, except for the monster could have been a little more believable, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I get it. I gave it an 8. I thought, again, very good. I didn't think it was great. Wasn't bad. Wasn't average. Uh, very good cinematography and a very good film. And I know that I get it. That's not very nuanced, but you got your nuanced discussion to begin with. Hell, we got into what's the appropriate
No, no,
fucking do as a parent.
no, and I love that. I love the way that I guess, kind of switched this and really taken a deep dive into the movie. I feel like we get a lot more out of it. So I really enjoyed that. This approach that we have gone to for sure.
Writing and directing, I also gave it 8, so that was 3 eights in a row for me. Mike, what'd you give
Uh
it?
8.5.
8.5. Sound and score. I'll give you a little preview here. I think the score is better in the second movie than in the first movie. I think there's more
I agree.
opportunity for that score to shine in the second movie than there was in the first movie. But the sound design of the movie is brilliant. But again, it kind of is lacking in the score department, in my opinion, in the first
Yeah.
movie. So when you're trying to balance the two for one score, I came up with 8.5.
Yeah, I gave it an 8. And to your point, that goes to do with the score. I'm sure you'll see that a little higher for me and Shawn next week with 2. But sound design was great. Um, just that score is, when you got to balance that.
Um, what who do you have for your MVP?
um, man,
Mine's a
this
cop-out
one.
answer.
You said what?
Mine's a cop-out answer. Mine's sound design. I know it's not a character, but without the sound design being where it is, the movie's not nearly as effective.
I think I'm gonna go with Lee, John's character. I just liked him a lot in this movie. Although, again, the decision making that he makes in this movie isn't fully there in a lot of the stuff, and we've talked about that. But as far as his on screen performance, I thought it was pretty damn good. So I'm gonna go with Krasinski on that one.
Krasinski's my best kill. I thought the kill at the end there meant the most. I didn't necessarily think it visually looked great because it's not necessarily off screen, but it's a quick, wipe kill, if you will.
I was gonna
Um,
ask you about that. How do you feel about you know how do you feel about that? That it wasn't a more gory kill? Did you need that, or
no,
it is what it is?
no, I didn't need it. I thought it is what it is, and I thought that you didn't need to bring more attention to it. I thought the kids let
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
how
exactly.
how bad it was, and they did a good job with it.
Yeah, they did a great job. That just kind of goes back again to the acting. They did a really good job. But for my best kill, it's his as well. It's emotional. Um, the moment that he has there with his daughter. I think her name's Reagan. Um, that was just real emotional. So I'm gonna go with yeah, that's my best kill as well.
All right. Well, to close up here, Mike had A Quiet Place at 88%, and I had it at 80%, which gave us an overall score of 84% for the first Quiet Place movie. And I think that's a pretty damn good, solid score. But I will say this to what Toronto Freddy's been saying in the comment section: as well as the film is made, there are some decisions in this film that just I I have a hard time comprehending.
That's fair.
That said, again, to preview next week's film, which is A Quiet Place 2, I did like that movie a lot better. It just felt more like, hey, this is your apocalyptic movie, and
Yeah, yeah.
they don't repeat the same mistake the first movie did. But anyways, Mike, what do you got going on?
Not a whole lot, man. Get ready to do the Road to Scream 6 over on the Take One podcast. Got a lighter podcast coming up next week. But new episode out this week are me and Jess, aka Discount Final Girl, give our top 10 Stephen King horror adaptations. It's a really great episode. So head over there. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and on YouTube.
And you can check out our other YouTube channels. If you're missing our Star Wars content, we have a channel launching a little later this week / early next week, The Legacy of Star Wars. You'll be able to catch all of our reviews for Mandalorian Season 3 over there. And just if you're a Star Wars fan, go check it out. You'll be able to find exclusive Star Wars content over there. And then The Legacy of Westeros is our Game of Thrones / House of the Dragon channel, which you'll be able to find a podcast over there soon, and a bunch of other new content. So check those things out. And then still got Phantom Empire kicking it here, talking horror, movies, TV, Halloween, you name it. Scream's next up on the docket for us. That's the big one we're following right now. And if you want to support the channel on another level, which we always encourage you to do so, simply because without you guys, there's no channel. At least not to the extent that it is. So we do appreciate the support. It's patreon.com/Fandom Empire. Greatly appreciated, everybody. And then also big thanks to our channel sponsors, Jesse with Bunce Force Trauma, Tasty Treat Master at yahoo.com, soundcloud.com/Bunce Force Trauma, and Facebook /Bunce Force Trauma. And then you got Christy_78, who does some amazing work on Myers Mask. Check out Chris. He does a wonderful job with them. Great prices, easy to work with, good dude. Harder and harder to find those these days. And then last but not least, it's Jason Knight at Backtrack Cinema. Check him out. He's got all sorts of things coming out now. These aren't his most recent videos that he's done, but he released them not in the too distant past, and he's got some new stuff that just came out the other day. So check him out, Backtrack Cinema. For Mike, I'm Shawn. We'll see you next week on the Overlook Drive-In. It's gonna be a ton of fucking fun. And if there's a monster-like apocalypse going on, prioritize protecting your fucking children, people. Just say. And maybe don't have more. That too. Good night.